All right, hello students. I am creating a short video for you guys to discuss annotating. That's what we talked about earlier today, so I wanted to kind of review it so that you had something at home that you could look at that would help you making sure that you understood what to do. All right, so our warm up for today was annotation. What is it? It's a note of any kind, any form that you do in text. So it can be the Cornell notes that we take, worksheets, passages that you read. What you're able to do is go back through those notes or while you're reading and make additional notes. So you may circle something or put a star beside it. Anything that you would do that would assist you in identifying what is important or a definition or something along those lines. All right, so this is not annotating. When you take a highlighter and go through and highlight everything, that's just what you did. You highlighted it. Annotation brings out something that is important. So if you highlight everything, you won't know what specifically you thought was important or a definition that you found. If you ever read a story and then you're like, I don't even know what I just read, and you feel as though you need to go back and read it again immediately, or you just have to read it again in general, that's what annotating is supposed to help you not have to do. Annotation slows down the reading so that you can get a better understanding. So if you read a paragraph at a time and then go back and make annotations, it makes it easier for you when you have to review that information to remember what you looked at. You can do annotations both digitally and on print. We will do both in our class. Here's an example of a middle school student's annotations. They put different colors so that certain things would stand out. They circled, they drew lines to things. Some types of annotations that you can do would be underlining things that you think are confusing, or writing a paraphrase, like picking certain pieces of a sentence, circling something, putting a question mark. Here's an example of a 7th grade student's annotation on a passage. So they put out terms or meanings of words in their own sentences. They circled things and drew lines to them to make a connection. Here are some other examples of annotations that you can use. One that I use a lot would be to draw arrows from one thing to another. I do use the W/ or the W/O, which means with and without. Here's another one that gives you some examples of things that you can do in the text. I am going to provide you with a chart of this when we start our notebooks on Wednesday and Thursday. You can also put numbers, put a star beside. This one right here is the one that I would say is the star beside it right here. All right. So now let's take a moment and do some annotations on the passages that I gave to you all in class. Let's see if I can, I can get this to work. Sketchpad, sketch on the screen. Okay, so we are going to read through the passage and then make annotations. So I'm going to start with my highlighter. Water on Earth can be found in 3 different forms or states. These states are solid, liquid, and gas. When it is frozen, it is solid ice. When it is liquid water. When it is gas, it is water vapor. The water cycle is the set of processes that water goes through as it changes from one state to another. So as we look at this first paragraph, we know that water can be in 3 different forms. So we're going to highlight 3 different forms or states. Now we need to know what the states are. We're going to highlight solid, liquid, and gas. Now I would like to make a connection between them so that I know that these go together. So that is their connection. Because I know what a solid, a liquid, and a gas is, I'm not going to underline when it's frozen, it's ice. But I am going to look here at the water cycle is a set of processes that water goes through as it changes from one state to another. Now, this is a definition. So, in order for me to know specifically what I'm defining, I'm going to put a little box around the water cycle because that's what this sentence is telling me, that the water cycle is a set of processes that water goes through. So, let's look at the next paragraph. When the heat of the sun shines on water in oceans, lakes, rivers, and streams, the water evaporates, rising up into the air as water vapor. As it moves higher into the sky, it cools. The cooled water vapor begins to form liquid drops, which gathers together as clouds. This process is called condensation. Little by little, more microscopic drops of water join together in the cloud. Finally, the cloud becomes so heavy that the drops start to fall. Any form of water that falls from the sky is called precipitation. So now let's take a moment and look at this paragraph, and let's highlight what we think is important. So, when the heat of the sun shines on water in oceans, lakes, rivers, streams, the water evaporates. So, evaporation is here. What we're defining, use another color. Okay. It is evaporates. Main thing we need to know is that the sun is what provides that heat. All right, so evaporates is one of the words that we define. We also got the definition for condensation and precipitation in this paragraph. So now let's go back to our highlighter. See if it'll let me choose a different color. No. Okay, so for condensation, cooled water vapor begins to form liquid drops, which gather together as clouds. That's going to be condensation. Any form of water that falls from the sky is precipitation. All right, so that's just to give you an idea. Now, this is minor. You'll also see some annotations on the side. Like for this particular one, this one is going to talk about how precept. Let me erase. Changes. All right, so I hope that this short video was very helpful to you.